Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, so have you ever looked around and wondered about that massive, almost invisible divide? On one side, you have folks who feel entirely stuck, trapped in this endless cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. And then, on the other side, there are those who actively, almost systematically, build wealth over time. Honestly, from the outside, it looks like magic. But the data reveals it's actually just a set of deeply ingrained, completely replicable routines.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because why some people build incredible wealth while others stay completely stuck is exactly what we are unpacking today. We're decoding 10 specific money habits sourced directly from financial research that separate these two groups. And we aren't treating these as random, disconnected tips. Instead, we're looking at them as a comprehensive blueprint. This is all about changing the underlying mechanics of how you handle your money day in and day out. To make this all super easy to digest, here's our roadmap. We're breaking these 10 habits down into 3 distinct phases of financial maturity. Escaping the money trap, phase 1, the foundation, phase 2, automated systems, phase 3, unstoppable growth, and finally wrapping up with your next financial move. So let's kick things off with section 1, escaping the money trap, preparing your mindset for wealth. Which brings us straight into phase 1. The foundation, or as I like to call it, defending your money. Look, before we can even think about growing our wealth, we absolutely have to stop the bleeding. I mean, you wouldn't build a skyscraper on a swamp, right? Well, you can't build wealth if your money is quietly draining away through bad habits. So the absolute first habit is tracking every single dollar. Because, you literally can't manage what you don't measure. Whether you use a slick phone app or just a good old-fashioned spreadsheet, knowing exactly where your money leaks is step 1. Once you're tracking things, you have to live below your means, spend less than you earn, and do it consistently. So the crucial point here is avoiding lifestyle inflation. It's so tempting, isn't it? You get a raise, you land a new job, and suddenly you want to upgrade your car or your apartment. But real wealth builders, they consciously resist that urge. Next up in our defensive foundation is building a rock-solid emergency fund containing 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses. Because let's face it, life happens. The car's transmission blows, the roof springs a leak, maybe a massive surprise dental bill pops up. Having 3 to 6 months of expenses safely tucked away, that means one random bad day won't wreck your finances and send you spiraling into debt. Think of it as your ultimate financial shock absorber. And speaking of debt, it turns out it is mathematically impossible to build long-term wealth while you're handing over 20% interest to a credit card company. Credit card interest is just a massive wealth destroyer, plain and simple. The wealth-building move here is to attack those balances aggressively until they are completely gone, and then from that point forward, always pay them in full every single month, no exceptions. All right, moving on to phase 2, automated systems, putting it on autopilot.
And this brilliantly illustrates how we take human error entirely out of the equation. We all have limited willpower, and let's be honest, relying on it to make perfect financial choices every single day is completely exhausting. But look at the setup. Your income arrives, it's instantly auto-transferred to savings, your bills are automatically paid, and only then do you actually see your spending money. This makes good money habits completely effortless.
Now, even with that on autopilot, you still need to know where those automatic savings are actually going, right? Which brings us to setting clear financial goals. Breaking them down across different timelines is absolutely key, whether it's short-term for a vacation, mid-term for a house, or long-term for retirement. Research actually shows that mapping out your goals like this turns saving from a boring chore into a really focused mission, dramatically increasing your success rate.
But hey, even with automation doing the heavy lifting, a budget isn't a set-it-and-forget-it kind of deal. The next habit is to review and adjust monthly. Successful wealth builders don't just close their eyes, cross their fingers, and hope their systems are working. No way! They sit down for a quick monthly check-in. They review what just happened, adjust for any upcoming expenses in the next month, and keep their hands firmly on the steering wheel. Okay, now for a habit that might just save a few of us from those dangerous late-night scrolling sessions. The number 24. This is the 24-hour rule for non-essential purchases. We're talking about spending intentionally here, not emotionally. When you see something you want to buy, something you don't strictly need, you force yourself to wait exactly 24 hours before you click buy. Now, what's really interesting about this is the visual contrast. On one side, you have that chaotic, dopamine-fueled impulse buy. We've all been there.
But by simply injecting an hourglass, a 24-hour waiting period, you allow all that raw emotion to fade away. If you still want the item the next day and it fits your budget, great, go for it. But you will be amazed at how many absolute must-haves just completely vanish overnight.
All right, let's ramp things up. Phase 3, unstoppable growth. This is the engine.
Now, we are officially shifting from playing defense and setting up systems to playing pure offense. The absolute cornerstone habit of this wealth engine is to pay yourself first. Basically, this means you save or invest a fixed percentage of your money the exact moment your income arrives. You do not wait to see what's left at the end of the month, because, let's be real, usually nothing is left. You secure your future first, before spending a single dime on anything else. Let's move forward and see how this builds right into our final major habit, investing consistently and starting early. Listen, you don't need to be some Wall Street genius to make this work. By using simple index funds and just starting early, you unlock massive compounding. Even incredibly small amounts of money, when they're invested early and consistently, will compound massively over time. Seriously, the math does all the heavy lifting for you here. Which brings us to our final section. Section 5, your next financial move, taking action today.
Remember, guys, these 10 habits are a progressive blueprint for wealth. They aren't some overnight get-rich-quick fix. It's really about a fundamental rewiring of how you interact with your finances. But, information without action is basically just trivia. So here is my direct challenge to you today. Look at the habits we've explored in this explainer. From tracking your dollars, to the 24-hour rule, to paying yourself first. Which of these will you start today? Pick just one.